had a had this webinar education, so I hung out with some realtors there. And I met with another realtor. That wasn't the greatest meeting. She was slowing down. No, she wasn't. She's basically like, I got one more year in the business, and she's slowing down. And
all right.
But what the result of that meeting is she put me in contact with one of her best friends that is in the business and will be in the business for another 10 years, and that does produce. And so I'm working on getting a meeting set up with her, and so that was good.
Great.
I had a meeting today with a realtor that was, he's actually in the middle of switching brokerages. Have you ever heard of EXP?
No, I have not.
It's like some cloud-based agency. He's claiming it's the next best thing and this and that, so I got to look into it.
They all do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's like, man, you could check out their stock. You know, there's about 2,000 agents, you know, in here, but, you know, I bet I know it's going to, within 6 months, it's going to get to 3,000 to 4,000. It's like, if it works out for him. So it was an all right meeting. But I don't know if he's a good fit because he didn't seem like he didn't seem too motivated. And I had another meeting today that she ended up being more of a seller's agent, and the lady that works for buyers I've already met with. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool.
Right.
So my meetings yesterday and today weren't the greatest, but I did have good news today. So I used to work at a church when I was 19. I did maintenance work. It was mainly I did custodial work, and I helped people point them in the right direction in the evening for evening meetings and whatnot. So I reached out to the priest a while back, and he has an interesting scenario. They basically got into an agreement where they could rent out the house for him on site, and he ended up buying a house. And so it was a weird, interesting scenario. So he was talking to me about refinancing a few months back, and I have a good relationship with him in that, and actually did the baptism for my nephew. But anyways, so I reached out to him about doing a home buyer education class for his parishioners. And so he said, I talked to him over the summer. He said, reach back out to me more in fall, winter time, and we'll get it set up, because the stewardship committee was all for it. He said, right now is not a good time. So I reached out to him on Monday, and re-talked to him about the plan, and he said, let me get back with you later on this week, and we'll talk, and then I'll let you know, some good days and times and whatnot. And so January 21st at 10 a.m., I'm doing a home buyer education class for the parishioners of St. Cyprian in Riverview. And so it gets even better. So I asked him, I was like, can we put an advertisement in the newsletter? If so, how much does it cost? And so then he tells me, he goes, if you send us a PDF, a flyer that's in a PDF form, we'll print it out and put it in the newsletters for no cost. He goes, all you have to do is put sponsorship by St. Cyprian Stewardship Committee. So I was like, that's awesome. So I got to meet with John DeKonig, our marketing guy, and figure out, one, how we're going to get this flyer and get it compliance approved. And so that's pretty cool what happened today.
Why is all this activity starting to happen now?
Why is it starting to happen now?
You've been in the business. You've been in the business for a little bit, right? I mean, you've been with Jay now for a couple months, right, or longer than that, like since December. Like you got with Jay like May of this year.
Yeah.
How is the first 3 months different than the last couple months?
I would say just mindset. I mean, at the beginning it was, I was going, but I was meeting with the wrong realtors, and I had like that desperation mindset to where I want to take everything and anything and everything. Like I meet with realtors, say, well, I already got someone that will do my conventional deals, but I need someone that can work with my harder clients and get them to the point where they can get approved. And I said, yeah, I can do it. I was taking that, and then I realized that I was just turning my wheels and wasting time. I wasn't getting any deals that could actually get to the closing table, and because I was basically looking desperate because it's like I was in my mindset, I need these deals. I need anything that can come my way. And so then I definitely flipped the switch of saying, even though I do need deals to get going, I want to make some money. I don't want to be that guy that looks desperate and like the kind of different things like that you've been preaching. And I flipped the switch on the realtors and changed the way the meeting styles went, and it's really starting to, really get some traction for me, and that's I think that is really, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was meeting with realtors all summer long. I was getting referrals sent to me. I mean, I had a ton of referrals sent to me over the summer, but out of those referrals, all of them, if not mostly, basically they were garbage. They were all garbage.
Right.
I couldn't do anything with them, so I just racked up the credit report bill. And
right.
So
right. It's called chasing ghosts.
Yeah.
They're there, but they're not really there. And that's the hard part sometimes about our business, is that we qualify the lead as being something of significant value, and we appear to be extremely busy. And in the coming weeks, we're going to start working on what's called a lead tracker, and I may or may not have sent that to you guys yet or not, but the idea and the purpose of a lead tracker is to really put on paper the result of what your actions look like every single day. And as that lead tracker unfolds, you keep it going every month. It's a cycle. After every 30 days, you open up a new lead tracker. And I've tracked my leads since 2005, and I still hold on to that lead tracker because it gives me an indication of what my cycles look like through my business career. But it also gives me a great reference point to go back to when I need to go back into my business and analyze it a little bit. But to that point is the quality of leads that you're getting is in direct comparison to the quality that you basically believe you are worth. I think healthy relationships are all centered around two people believing that they bring something to the table, and they realize that they bring something that the other person wants, not needs, but wants. When you're convinced that you have a value to bring, they in turn provide you a reciprocating value, to keep the relationship in balance. When you simply go out there and lean on agents, it's more of hush money, right? It just, here's a lead, buddy, shut up. I'm just going to give you the crap deals that I got just to keep you at bay, because you believe that that's all you're worth. But when you believe that you bring value beyond just the actual lead and that you can amplify the relationship, the realtor begins to recognize, based on what you say and how you carry yourself and the results, that, yeah, maybe this guy is a partner, does share that partner mindset that I've been looking for, but they're so used to the typical loan officer leaning on them and being a pack mule that it's hard to get out of that reference point. And that's why I've always suggested, realtors are a good source of business, but there are other professionals that don't have that stigma attached to loan officers. Attorneys, financial planners, and CPAs, they don't get called on. When you pick up the phone and call them based on what your experiences have been and what your knowledge is now, you offer them a true partnership that they are always and have always looked for in their business, but don't believe that most loan officers possess the acumen to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, definitely makes sense.
So, in the biggest difference, you think, is the quality of lead that you're getting is different because of why?
Because the quality of the, you said the quality of the lead that I'm getting, because of the quality of the meeting that's being conducted between the agent and myself. I think the message being delivered.
Are you finding yourself saying, how can I, are you basically, I remember one of our very first conversations that you and I had, and it was you were going to do social media posts, you were going to help them bring up their knowledge of technology. Do you find yourself going down that path with these agents as much, or do you find yourself being more of a position of strength and value that you can bring a different layer of value to them beyond just offering up your technological skills?
Option number 2, Doug. That first, when you first talked to me, the whole I guess there was a whole paradigm or whatever switch. There was a whole change in direction, and from when we spoke then, I'd definitely say option number 2 was the position of strength option.
Got it. I love it. So when you speak to the agents, what are some of the qualities you're looking for now in realtors that you're meeting with?
I'm looking for the qualities that I'm looking for. What's that?
No, sorry. My computer just received an email. It does that.
No, so what I'm looking for when I meet with an agent is I'm looking for one agent that's working with buyers, that also is on the same page with me as in their expectations, someone that is going to pick up the phone and make calls and do necessary, basically work hard to get deals come in, and
right.
ones that are qualified, so ones that are already making things happen, or even if they're not as busy, but they're on track to getting busy, they're on the same page as I am, and so there's things that we can do, that I can do with them to help them grow, and we can grow together. So really, I mean, what I'm looking for is realtors that have the same mindset and goals and values that I do, and the ones that won't pick up the phone and make a cold call, I don't want to work with them. They're not going to work with them, and so it's really, I mean, it comes down to they have to be a good fit for my business, just as I have to be a good fit for theirs.
Awesome, awesome. It's amazing what happens when you shift your mindset and what's really available to you, right? I mean, the church, the home buying seminar that you're having, the agents that you're meeting with now, are you having as many conversations about rates and products as you used to?
No, not at all. I mean, because some realtors, like you said, they don't know what to ask. When they bring up rates and products, it's perfect. I love when they ask about it now, because I come back with them and saying, listen, I'm going to have your average rates. You're going to be able to find a lower, our clients will be able to find a lower one online from some online lender. I don't have high rates. I'm, right around average. The products that we offer are all going to be the same products you can find at a bank. There's no difference there. And then I switch into basically the value that I bring to them, where they shouldn't be caring about what rates and what products I have. They should be caring about getting to the closing table and being referable and getting more business, doing it that way. And so they set themselves up, and it's awesome.
So I had a conversation with a group of LOs earlier today, and one of them talked about their last presentation or last conversation they had with a realtor, and the realtor about halfway through the presentation goes, you know what, I like what you have to say. I'd love to invite you into my office and have you speak in front of a couple hundred agents during one of our sessions. And the loan officer said, you know what, in all fairness, I don't really like that idea. You know what, I'm not really interested in standing up in front of 300 people, because I don't believe that you can truly build a relationship with anybody that way. Instead, I'd be curious to know if you have 3 or 4 agents in your office that you have a personal relationship with that you could give me a personal introduction to. Because in my business, that's more valuable than introducing me to 300 people, because I don't find that there's a lot of value given, and I don't feel like there's a lot of value received when you stand up in front of a large group like that. And it was funny, because he said that the realtor's expression on their face was, are you kidding me? That's the first time somebody has said no to me about that, which I said therein lies the point of what it is that I'm trying to get across. You guys are learning how to differentiate yourself simply by your language and how you present yourself in front of these agents to make it where you're not having to lean on them. I've learned that statement of leaning is really the poison that we all deal with, and that's what causes us to be hesitant to pick up the phone and make introductory phone calls. It's the poison that makes us incapable of having a meaningful conversation, and it basically prevents us from actually ever being ourselves. And when we realize that we don't have to lean on people, that we offer value, and when we learn what to say to provide clarity on that value, it changes changes the dynamic of your relationships. And it's something that you've very eloquently have just outlined. It's an amazing paradigm shift to realize that you offer up more value and strength than most agents are ever going to be able to communicate.
Yeah, definitely. So I would have loved to see look on that real estate.
So one of the things that I've been talking to a couple other LOs about over this past week is, after you've made your first introduction, after you've actually sat down and had your face-to-face, and you've come to an agreement that this may be somebody that I want to work with, what do you do in your follow-up calls? Like, what does your follow-up process look like? I'd like to hear from either Adam or Erica. I know that Adam is on the call, and so is Erica, and I know that they've been extremely quiet, so I'm going to get them involved. So.
Yeah, I just jumped in.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are things with you?
Good.
Good. So tell me, Adam or Erica, what do you guys find is your, Erica, I'm going to ask you first. What is your what is your follow-up strategy like with the realtors after you've met them for the first time if you're still courting new agents?
So typically, besides sending them like a handwritten note, and we just started doing, I don't know, has everybody read that book? I think it's called, I always get it wrong, Mr. Schmooze?
Mr. Schmooze, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Mr. Schmooze, great book.
Mr. Schmooze. It gives a great, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but if you haven't read it, it's a quick read.
It is a quick read.
It's a really quick read. But, a lot of it is kind of teaching you how to sell through relationships, right?
Yep.
So one of the techniques in the book was encouraging you, like through your meeting and conversation, and picking up on something that the borrower likes or the agent likes, I try to get something meaningful or something that I know that they like and kind of send with a follow-up note. Nothing excessive, nothing too big.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone mentions that they like gardening or something, then you can send them like sometimes online there'll be like little packets of like seeds to plant a plant or something.
Careful on the seeds you send America.
I know, right? Something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever done that, but it's just, that's an example. And usually I get a phone call.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So,
it's amazing what a little handwritten note does to people.
Yes, or I'll get a text message or just something, something to follow up with, thanking them for their time out of their day. Then they usually will reach back out to me, and I ask them, if they would give me the opportunity to work with their next buyer referral, and they usually say yes. And as long as I keep them on, everybody does like Thor's hammer, right, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know about that?
I've personally never done it, but I know everything there is to know about it.
So you can kind of do, like I'm not, this is going to sound weird, I choose my Thor's hammer off of my meetings, right? So if I've set a face-to-face, they like me, then I kind of do a Tuesday instead of my Thor's hammer, but it's like my agents that I want business from, and I either do a slide dial to them until I get a referral, or you can do like some of these mass texting, but it doesn't look like a mass text.
Right.
Every couple weeks, just to remind them there and ask them for an opportunity to work with their next buyer. That's it.
Right.
It takes organization, though, and it took me a long time to notice the importance of making it a priority.
Sure. Couldn't agree more. That's one of our greatest challenges is distraction. How about you, Adam? What do you do?
After I meet them for the first time, I always follow up the meeting that day with a email, just thanking them for their time. Great meeting them. Loved a chance to work with their next buyer. And then I also do a monthly handwritten letter or note that I'll send out to each of my agents. Some months it's like, the first letter that I send out for them is somewhat specific to them, something I picked up, kind of like what Erica was saying. Like, for example, there's one agent I met with just had a baby, so I mentioned something about the baby in the letter, and then sent that out. And then the next month I send just a more basic card, and then I'll just flip back and forth.
What do you do if after a week or two you're now starting to get the cold shoulder? I mean, after you send a handwritten card, I very rarely do you think that nobody's going to receive your phone call, but what do you do on the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time? I mean, if we take Thor's Hammer 12-week approach, what do you do to maintain top of mind to them? Like, what does the conversation look like after 4 weeks or 5 weeks of you trying to get a connection with this agent after you've had what you believe was a great conversation?
Really, I'm just asking them for a chance to show them how well we work, just to a chance, give me an opportunity to run one deal with you, and then I'll promise that it'll be a good deal or whatnot, and you'll enjoy it and blah blah. But the thing is, I also do a weekly call on Mondays.
Yep.
Every Monday morning, like they teach you in mortgage marketing. But I'll do the Monday call, and I'll call each agent. And some weeks, some Mondays, I get half of them to answer, and then we have like a nice conversation. And then I'll ask for the business at the end of the conversation. But some weeks, it's just a lot of voicemails.
Right, right. Have you ever thought about, and maybe you guys already do this, and maybe Erica, you already do this, but it worked well for me when I was campaigning for new agents. Did you ever leave them a question on their voicemail?
Yeah.
Such as, what do you do that makes you referable? What are you going to be doing this weekend that's going to earn you another client? Are you aware that your client is capable of referring you another client? And the reason that I ask that is because what we talk about on this call isn't just related to just mortgages. You know, when we talked about the top 3 things that we do for a living, you know the 3 things that make us unique compared to anybody else? Do you guys remember what those 3 things are?
Hold on.
Come on.
Manage fears and expectations.
That's one. What's the other 2?
We negotiate.
Yep. One more.
And then why I always forget? Why am I forgetting this one? I have it written down.
You consult. Consult. This is largely probably the biggest follow-up call that you can make to any realtor. Ask them what makes their business different than the agent that sits in the cubicle or the office or in the branch next to them. What makes a realtor more memorable? What do you do, Mr. Realtor, that is so unique that makes your right to earn a commission so much better than the person who sits next to you? If you guys are not taking what we're talking about today and using it to further your relationships by being the mentor or coach or relationship amplifier, because you can be a relationship amplifier simply by providing them a better way to fish. You can instill in them some of the same language skills that I'm giving you guys. And the truth is that when you're able to help a realtor close a better deal, because you'd be amazed how many agents don't know how to close a sale. You'd be amazed at how many times a realtor fails at creating an opportunity to earn the client's trust. And if you ask every agent, would they prefer to get their business from a referral, or from Zillow, or from Trulia, or from a floor call, or from a cold call? And every single realtor would be like, I'd rather get a business from a referral. And you'd ask them, why would you rather get that business from a referral? Because you know that it's a genuine referral. It's a genuine opportunity to do business. It's a higher likelihood that they're going to be able to close that deal if they're sitting there talking to somebody that either knows them, likes them, or trusts them, or was referred to them by somebody that knows, likes, and trusts them. The truth is that there's not a single training mechanism on the planet that provides those realtors the ability to learn how to become more articulate in their skill set. And if you want a 12-week follow-up plan, it would be around simply talking to them about what are the skills that you guys are learning that you can start teaching to them. And what a better way to learn. And what a better way to find out if the agent that you're working with is a perfect partner. If they're not willing to start implementing some of the things that you guys are starting to experience the change, and you're starting to see how realtors look at you and how you carry yourselves in front of your consumers. And if you can't get a realtor to buy into this, then you have a very clear identification that maybe they're just not capable. And not everybody wants to learn this stuff, but if you're looking for a way to differentiate yourself even farther, it's ask the realtors the hard questions. What makes you different, Mr. Realtor? I've been calling on you for 4 weeks. I'm curious to know if business is slow, like Dave, you said one of your agents said that. Would you like to learn how to earn more business simply by doing what you already do, by learning how to orchestrate referable moments and capitalize on them? And if you teach a realtor how to actually use what they already do and improve upon it, not by spending money on a new shiny object or a new computer program or a new Facebook post, but to genuinely sit down and go, when you speak to people, we've just learned that in our election. Like them or hate them, both parties, you have an ability to evoke major change and major enthusiasm by the words that you use. And the reality is that we don't take that serious. Most of the realtors, when they sit down in front of the potential consumer, they're horrible at presenting. They're nothing more than order takers on a document. We all know how to fill out a purchase agreement if we had to. The truth is that what makes a realtor different than a for sale by owner box that they can get at Home Depot, or like you said, Dave, the discount broker shop down the street, the reason those businesses are growing is because they're losing sight of what the real consumer's after. And people think that it's all based on price, and it's all based on the bottom line of how much you're going to charge me. Well, perceived value equals reality. If you believe you're only worth a half a commission, then that's how you're going to act. But I'd be curious to know if any of the agents that you work with would be able to sit down and say, what makes you different than the agent that's down the hall from you? What makes you unique? Yes, you may have had 12 years of experience. That's fine. But how do you qualify that that experience is good experience? Yes, you may have done 30 million in sales last year. Well, that's great. It just tells me you did a lot of volume. How do I know you're going to make me feel important? How much money did you have to spend on all the marketing and advertising to get that 30 million? A lot of the times a realtor's budget to spend money is usually about 80% of their total income. Think about that for a moment. You'd have to spend $100,000 to earn $20,000 in income. That might not be the case for everybody, but a few of the agents that I used to mentor, it was amazing how much money they spent on ego advertising. And what I'm saying is you guys have a more organic approach, and the agents that are willing to listen, you could literally spend 12 weeks offering them up value and never once feel like you had to lean on them for business. And every time you got a thank you and every time they acknowledged your effort, that's when you capitalize on the moment and say, and thanks for noticing. I care about the way that my business is run, and I would love to see you succeed. And you know as well as I do that the only way that you and I are going to be able to continue this relationship is if we help each other grow our businesses. I'm looking at working with buyers that you have, and I would love to help continue to teach you on how to cultivate new relationships that we can use together to build a great business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the follow-up plan of dropping letters, I love that. I think anytime that you can write a letter in the hopes of it elicits a phone call back, that puts you on the power end of the spectrum. That means that they're calling you to say thank you to you, which gives you freedom to go, you know what? That's a great quality. I love the fact that I'm able to take the time to do that because that's how much my relationships mean to me. If I can put that kind of effort into just one meeting with you, imagine what I'm going to do with clients that you refer to me. And then you teach them how they can amplify the relationship with the client that they're working with, which then in turn leads them down a path of, I can help you gain another client because together we can help the client go through this process and have it be one of the best that they've ever experienced. And I will give them a reason and I will make the request that they endorse us to the people that they care about. Most realtors don't have the confidence to be able to look at their clients and say, I expect you to refer me through the process because I know my process kicks ass. Just about every realtor that you'll ever meet will never feel like they can say that you will refer me. Just look at how they refer you guys. I have to give 3 business cards out. And that is the weakest cop-out of any professional I've ever heard. If you hear a realtor say that, you gotta run to the hills because that person has no backbone, they have no confidence, and they sure the hell aren't going to be a great representation for you, because they're not going to have any kind of control over their client, and therefore you can expect that the realities of the process, as imperfect as they are going to come crashing down around you, and guess what's going to be, and guess who's going to be the scapegoat? It's going to be the lender.
Mm-hmm.
That's my soapbox for the day. Did it make sense, Adam? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. I missed the beginning of the thing, but of the call, but I heard all that. Yeah, it makes sense.
What do you take away from that? When you just heard me say what I said, what do you hear?
Well, the very end of it kind of got me sidetracked, because I thought of a couple people that just like popped into my head that have told me that multiple times.
Good. Right.
They're like, yeah, I have to send out 3 cards, and I'm always like, well, I still call them and stuff, because me being so new and whatnot, I mean, I'll take anything. I'll try for everything.
Right.
But now I'm wondering whether just to go on or something new, someone new, or not.
Well, ask yourself this question, my friend. If let's just say, if this holds true, the realtor, more than likely, the person they got the lead from may be a referral. There's a better than 50% chance that it's a referral. Is that a fair guess?
Yeah.
And if that referral comes to them and said, I need your help because you helped out somebody else, does providing them with more choices help or hurt somebody who's seeking their counsel?
Hurt. Well,
yeah, it confuses the shit out of people.
Yeah.
You're telling me that I've got to go do even more research. Why shouldn't I do more research on a realtor?
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming to you because I believe that the person that referred me to you knew what's going on, and you took care of them. Therein lies the disconnect. A realtor that's going to tell you that they have to give out 3 business cards, you literally can shake their hand and say, unfortunately, what that tells me about the way you do business is that you have no control over your clients, you care nothing about the expectations that are being set and managed, and you aren't looking for a partnership with a loan officer. Truly, you can pass out 3 business cards, but you pass out 1 at a time. Because if you really truly cared about your clients, you'd want to give them the advice to the right person based on your consultation skills. Like, I'm not going to refer a 25-year-old first-time home buyer to a 68-year-old husband and wife team who work in a low-income area in my area. I'm going to refer them to an agent that's similar in age that knows the market based on where they live. I'm not going to refer 3 realtors' names to my client. I always passed out 1 single name for every borrower because I tailor-made the realtor's experience based on my client's needs. And a client and a realtor that can't figure out what their client's goals, wants, and needs are, if they can't consult, then I can tell you right now that they're not even worth the 1% commission that they're supposed to be getting paid to consult them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your realtors who tell you they pass out 3 business cards and simply go, they don't have a business. They are glorified order takers who, if you then ask them what makes you different, if I was able to refer you to a client of mine, what would make me want to refer you over 2 other realtors that I have relationships with? And the truth is that they're not going to have an answer for you. But the agent that passes out 3 business cards at the same time, they're not in the business of creating meaningful relationships and helping people, and they're 100% not referable.
I feel like with some of the agents, it seems like with some companies, they're just like taught that almost.
That's bullshit. They're not taught that. They're taught that as a defense mechanism to make you believe that you're only a commodity, that you have to be corralled with 2 other people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is a falsehood that they have to pass out 3 business cards. There's not a law
right
or an angle in our real estate business that says that they have to get 3 business cards. Mm-hmm. What it tells me is that you're a weak professional. Think about a doctor. Does a doctor refer out 3 other names? Or they go, no, you need to go see this specialist? Does an attorney say you need to call these three lawyers and find out which one's going to be the best one for you? They refer one person at a time. And believe me when I say this, the law and the physicians have a hell of a whole lot more at stake than we ever will. And you're telling me a realtor who makes less than $30,000 a year is going to tell you that I have to give out 3 business cards? No, the reason you have to give out 3 business cards is because you're weak, you're not referable, and you sure the hell have no idea what it means to be of value to your clients. Because if I told you that I was going to give you a referral, but you were going to have to compete against 2 other realtors at the same time, you wouldn't stand a chance because you have no idea what it means to provide value to people. Good luck.
Right.
God, that irritates the shit out of me when realtors do that. It's such an arrogant stance meant to make us believe that we're no better than 2 other dipshits who are out there selling rates, fees, and products. And you guys are out there presenting yourself as a valuable asset to help them build a business. But therein lies the problem. Most realtors, they don't know how to build a business. They don't want to build a business. They're living on hopium. They're living on this drug called hopium. They have no idea how to organize themselves and to be disciplined enough to create a meaningful relationship to ever create an opportunity to get a referral. But yet they all say the best compliment in the world is a referral. Great. What makes you referable, Mr. Realtor? I mean, literally that line of questioning. Mr. Realtor, tell me, where would you prefer to get your business from? I prefer to get my business from referrals. Great. What do you do on a day-to-day basis that makes you a referable realtor? Because I have my presentation that I'd love to share with you that makes me a referable lender. And then you wait and let them stare at you, let them feel uncomfortable, and then you go, let me give you just give you an insight as to how my business runs. I have 3 layers of communication that I provide to my clients, which I believe is the cornerstone for a successful closing. I consult, I negotiate, and I manage people's fears and expectations, which are all basically a foundational piece of communication. So what you're telling me, Mr. Realtor, is that you don't have any idea what your valuable asset is for your clients. I understand that. Remember in the beginning of this meeting I said I wasn't sure if we were going to be a good fit and I was going to interview you as much as you're interviewing me? Yeah, I'm not thinking that this is going to be a good match. If you'd ever love to learn how to become a better agent or a more referable agent, I'd love to coach you and help you learn how to do that. But right now, I'm only looking for agents that I can partner with that actually understand the value of what it means to provide a valuable transaction that turns into referrals from the transactions that we share together. Have a great day. I'm not saying that's what you should say, but that's how I feel like I'm saying it. That's what I would say right now.
I do feel like that's, I mean, it's to the point. I think you're right, but you know what I think will happen in the end? It's going to drive them crazy that you just rejected them.
That's exactly why I hate the idea that realtors believe that they're better than us.
They do.
Because and that's because most of the loan officers that ever call on them are needy little homeless people. They're needy in the sense that they have no value to bring. They're homeless because they feel like they can't ever get by without having a realtor that they have to curtail to. And they're just poor examples of professionals. See, the problem, and this is why we started with some of these conversations in our very first couple of calls, was you have to be able to define your value to these agents in the very beginning to get them from shifting from hearing you to listening to you. When you can get them to really listen to you, all the preconceived notions that they had go out the window. That's why you have to be confident. That's why you have to be clear on your value. That's why the conversations that we've talked about for the last several weeks have been around what you say. And once you grasp that, it all starts to fall into place. And when you believe it, you start to be able to communicate from a position of strength and confidence and value, which most of the realtors, guys, and you know this in your heart, most of the agents that you talk to, they're dying on the vine. They're literally one closing away from not paying their bills that month. And the truth is that they lean on you because who else is a better scapegoat? They basically pass the buck. And the truth behind everything that we talk about, or really everything that I feel like I talk to you about, is your value is so much greater than product rate and fees. You're not a commodity. This business is littered with people who don't know how to provide value. And I'm telling you this right now. In comparison to what our election just went through, we are a nation that's starving for somebody to listen to us. And when somebody finally talks our talk and speaks how we speak and says the things that we feel, we don't care if it's politically correct. We don't care if it's perfect or not. We care that it resonates. And just the way that Donald Trump made his mistakes, he spoke to a very large number of people. And I'm saying that in comparison to the way you guys present yourselves to realtors, there are more agents out there who are who would love to have that kind of resonance in somebody. Dissonance is the combative, very non-fluid way of how we feel. It's like a sandpaper on wood. Whereas resonance is that everything flows, everything's fluid, everything's balanced, everything's in harmony with one another. But there are enough agents who don't get it. There are enough agents who don't care about it. There are enough agents who are so old school that they'll never change. But please do not ever believe that you have to sit there and listen to an agent tell you that they have to give out 3 business cards. Because if you go back and listen to what I just said, because I am recording it, use what I said, mentor it, and use that as your response. And I don't care if you get up and leave the table and shake their hand and go, remember what I told you in the beginning? I'm interviewing you as much as you're interviewing me. I've come to the point where I'm okay with this not being a good fit because I'm not really interested in partnering with somebody like that. When you do the takeaway, my God, like Erica just said, their jaws are going to hit the floor and they're going to be like, what does this guy have that makes him so valuable? And if they don't, let them go flounder in the real estate business for the rest of their career. They're the ones that are in it.
As much as you're, I mean, this sounds really weird, but the way that you're talking.
Did I offend you? I'm sorry.
It seems scary to look somebody in the face and be like, I really appreciate your time, but I don't think this is a good fit.
Yep.
But what it's going to do is it creates a confidence.
Value.
Right?
It creates a value. It creates an image of value.
Yeah, and so
if somebody had $1,000, right? If you had $1,000, Erica, and you said, if we're done with this meeting and you tell me that you're valuable enough, I'm going to give you $1,000 for your time. You're going to interview the shit out of that appointment to earn that $1,000.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, you can simply shake their hand and go, you know what? I'm sorry. It's just like a job interview. You're not going to get the job. I don't want somebody on my team that looks and acts and thinks like you do. I'm okay with it. I hope you are, but that's why I said that in the beginning. See, there's a methodology to everything I've worked with you guys on because it all brings it whole and it provides you an ample defense mechanism to anything that a realtor is going to throw at you. And you can literally turn it back on them and make it to where you are the professional or the consultant. But you're right, Erica, it's tough.
It sets you up as an expert, right?
Boom. You got it. But not an expert in mortgages. Like, you're not an expert in mortgages. You're an expert, like Mr. Smooth says. You're an expert in human relationships. You understand the power of what it means to be of value to somebody. You've done your homework. You know what it means to speak correctly. You know what it means to prepare for the appointment. You know what it means to listen to people and acknowledge what they're all about.
Yeah.
Most of these agents show up to this meeting as a write-off. They're like, I'm just wasting my time. David, you said it very clearly in the beginning. You had that mind shift and things have now started to take hold in a different way than you've ever thought possible. And you're not doing anything different. You're just speaking differently. And you walk with a little bit more confidence. You show up to the table with a little bit more swagger. You articulate your values and your values and your unique selling proposition with authority and confidence. Most realtors, we talked about that before, there's a book called Silent Power. People are drawn into it. What's that?
What's it called?
It's a book by an author by the name of Stuart Wilde. It's probably half as long as Mr. Smooth, and it's an easy read, and it's basically talks about everybody's human energy and how people are attracted to energy that makes them feel better. It's a survival tactic. So when you show up to the table and you operate at a higher energy level because you're confident and you're secure and you have the it factor, the realtors are technically, they're drawn into you. And they become the ones that lean. You don't. So, all right, guys, that's my 2 cents. I hope it helps.
No, I liked it. That was really good.
You don't know that, but it really does. We're all being quiet, but it's because we're taking it in and taking notes.
All right, because I sometimes I get on these little rants, and I'm like, I don't know if what I'm saying is going to work or not, but it's worked for me in the past.
This is what is. It's not just that you're enthusiastic, like you have endurance, and to me, that's what is motivating.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I do 15 of these a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nonstop. But you know what? I will tell you that every time I do one of these, they're never the same. Some of the content is the same, but the message sometimes alters and gets a little bit altered through the process, you know, through the meeting. And a lot of it has to do with
read Mr. Schmooze.
What's that?
Adam and David need to read Mr. Schmooze. It's good.
Yeah, I would highly recommend, if you guys don't have a book, get it on Audible, download it, and listen to it. The author does an amazing job reading the book out loud, but the book itself has some great highlights. But it really requires you to, and I don't know if I would invest that much time with realtors. You know, I don't know if I would really, the way that Mr. Schmooze presents it, I don't know if I would invest that much time and energy with a great number of agents. Your inner circle, by all means, it's a great way to understand your inner circle. But I will tell you, right, but I will tell you it'll help you understand even more what your value is. And when you are clear, crystal clear on your value and your why, these agents aren't going to stand a chance. And to be honest, for every 10 agents that you meet with or talk to, you'll throw 9 of them away. But you need 10 to 15 solid realtor relationships, and you will have a ridiculous financial career. And pretty soon, word's going to spread that you're kind of a big deal, and pretty soon you're not going to have to call them. They're going to be calling you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's the listing agent.
Mm-hmm.